Are live.
Good morning, everyone. I call to order the Design Review Board for March 16, 2021. The first item on the agenda are the minutes of March 2nd, 2021, which were previously distributed. Are there any questions or corrections? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. The next item on the agenda is Thomas Cooper of 106 Newtown Lane. Is the applicant present?
I am.
Oh, great. Good morning.
Good morning.
Paul Massey's. Oh,
Can you describe the project, please?
Sure. So there's obviously a structure there currently. And it used to be the old dry cleaners. We're looking to, if you've been inside the building is quite dilapidated, even from the floor joists to the walls to everything there is pretty much, falling down or falling in. The roof is caving in, things like that. It's old and dilapidated. We are hoping to replace the building in kind, pretty much. We're not changing the structure at all, except for we're actually making it a little bit smaller just to help with the parking area. But we want to build the structure the same footprint that it currently is. You can tell by the drawings that the facade now we want to change that to kind of emulate the two buildings that are across the street and kind of do a mixture of the two, using the brick that is the old Cavagnaro building, and then the beveled cedar look that was on the old Krupinski building now, I guess. So we're trying to take those two mediums and bring them together and create the new structure. We did want to add a second floor, and the reason for the second floor is more for the affordable housing, or I guess the village classifies it as workforce housing. And we're hoping to add a little bit of that in the village to help alleviate some of that issue that we have. But that's pretty much in gist of what we're trying to do.
How many parking spaces will you have? Can you give us a breakdown?
We have 2 parking spots and a third is handicap. So we have 3 parking spots in that parking space next door to the building.
And it says wet usage. What is your idea about wet usage? What will that be?
We're hoping to be honest with you, the main, not that it's set in stone yet, but the goal was to maybe have an ice cream shop, candy shop type of thing there as the kids go by to school. That's what our goal would be. But what wet use just means that you could have a deli or anything. So it doesn't, I don't want to say that what it definitely is. I just that's our goal to have.
Do I have Billy Hayjack? You have any opinions? Billy, is he here?
Yeah. Good morning, members of the board.
Good morning.
So, yeah, I mean, I've had some conversations with Mr. Cooper over the course of his acquiring the property, and the village is encouraging apartments if it's at all possible. So it's nice to see an apartment as part of the project because that lends itself to more regulated income, regulated controlled income and some housing, which would be well needed in the village. In terms of layout, I mean, they're pretty much following the footprint of what's there. So I don't have much to offer in terms of layout. The project is going to require some variances from the zoning board. So I think before this board can act on it, they're going to have to apply and receive some variances. It might be worth the applicant requesting a committee to discuss it with the board. The board might want to form a committee and help shape the application a little bit in terms of its facade and appearance and layout. That's a suggestion. It's recommended in the code for commercial site plans.
I think
Other than that, I don't have any other comments at this point.
Can I just interject?
Mhm.
So I actually agree with Billy quite a bit. I think that because the ZBA seems to have more control over what's going to happen with this project, I agree that we should try to have a committee that I can work with, that as we develop the project and how we find out what we find out from the ZBA, what they're going to allow and what they would like to have happen, then, somebody on that committee, we could, meet and talk about how we can develop the aesthetics as well.
Do we, I'm sorry.
No, I was
Go
just, I actually think that's a good idea, since it's a total tear down and an opportunity to enhance that section of town.
Yeah.
The village.
Well, I noticed that there really aren't very many details on the facade of the building itself. It's just basically just sketched in, drawn in without any detailing. So I guess we really need to answer that question on what's the final product going to look like? What's the final building going to appear? And is it
What details are
harmonious?
you missing, sir?
I'm sorry?
What details are you missing? I'm just curious, because we show the brick, we actually show the sample of brick, the siding, we show the sample of siding.
Right.
We have the windows, the doors, the lighting fixtures, everything's there.
Okay.
But that doesn't matter to me. I mean, I don't even need to review that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that, having a committee to go through this process to really work with the ZBA as well is more beneficial.
Yeah, I know you do, but I'd sort of like to see in proportion to what it really looks like, which I think with the committee, it would be a better idea so we could go over it.
No, that's great.
Any other questions or?
The one I just wanted to reiterate to the board, what's the existing use. I mean, it's the commercial zoning district, and the existing use is actually a manufacturing use. So it's a pre-existing non-conforming situation. They would be bringing this into conformity with a retail/office use. My personal opinion is that a retail use would be more appropriate for the site, given its limited amount of parking. I think it's going to be a challenge to have office space there that is going to be demanding on parking. A retail use might just be overall better just in terms of parking, because people will tend to maximize and utilize the on-street parking and public parking versus trying to park on site for retail, whereas an office, the tendency is for people to, need to be there for multiple hours on end. So, it's good that they're eliminating a pre-existing non-conforming use, but I just caution the board in terms of the actual office space. I think might be a little bit of a challenge in terms of parking. And in terms of the committee, the board has historically selected two members would volunteer to sit on the committee.
Okay.
I would volunteer to sit on the committee.
Okay. Do I have another person?
I would.
Kristen? Kristen? Yes.
Anne, I would.
Okay, Ann, thank you. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Any other input?
It does, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this, since it's going to a committee, it doesn't seem like there is wheelchair access in the entrances to the, it looks like it's 2 steps up. That there's not any, it's like it currently was, but it doesn't seem like there's any access for someone with a disability.
So that's something we can work on. I agree that we probably have to have handicap accessibility there.
Yeah, that was my only thing besides how the siding worked, were my only other questions, which I think is something that would be discussed during the committee process.
Do we have any other questions? So So we have a committee, and I'll reach out to you and we'll go over all of this. And the, I guess the next thing is that this will also go to the CBA.
There's no
For review.
application yet, but yeah, Tom
Yeah.
will make application to the CBA.
Right.
So does the committee do the design, set the design before it goes to the ZBA, or is that concurrent with the ZBA?
That's a strategy for the applicant. My recommendation would be to work with the committee to formulate a plan that the design review board is pretty satisfied with. And,
Okay.
and at that point, they might want to broach the variance request with the zoning board. But that's a question, that's a strategy
Right.
question for the applicant.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, so then we'll do that, and we'll send it off. Bob Hefner, do you have any
Yeah, there certainly
have
is.
any comments, please?
I think it's a great idea to have a committee. There's certainly the potential to improve, the character of Upper Newtown. And we do have our guideline manual for the commercial districts, which has a separate section on the Upper Newtown lane that the committee members and Mr. Cooper can consult that in looking at the plan, to try to get it to take more of the positive characteristics of this area. But it looks like it's, everyone is willing to make it the best building that they can. So that's good.
Right.
I think the committee is a good idea. It'll work well.
Right.
Can I just ask Mr. Hefner something?
Excuse me?
Can I just ask Mr. Hefner something?
Yes.
So I had just, I had read somewhere and doing some research on the building, things like that area of Newtown, at one time, the village of East Hampton had requested or tried to have brick as the facade of most of the buildings that were being redone down there. I just want to see if that is in that, that stuff that you were just talking about. Like, were they trying to get brick to be the facade, or is that not?
No, not necessarily in that area. I think the guidelines say that for smaller buildings, brick would be appropriate. So in this case, for your building, yes, brick would be a good idea for the facade.
Okay.
And that little, the barber shop there, which is a very nice building on Newtown Lane, is something good to look at.
Right.
It's a Thorpe design, J.G. Thorpe.
Mm-hmm.
Got
That's what
it's got more detail to
thought
it.
that was the case.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so brick is a good direction to go in, I think.
Thanks.
Okay. Are there any other questions? So we formed the committee, and I will reach out to you on that, and we'll have our reviews. Do I have, okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Bye.